Well, hey everybody. We are live from Clifton Heights. Around this area, it's just a bunch of rolling heights. So it's Monday. It feels like a Sunday. That's because Memorial Day makes you think, even if you have a 4-day week ahead, it just makes you think that it's Sunday, where everything is just going to be going back to normal, Like, I got to sleep in today on a Monday. And sleep in, I mean like rolling around to bed at 9 a.m. That's sleeping in for me. Because I just get up and go, usually at 6 a.m. every weekday. But the weekends, and I guess this extra weekend day, I was like, what the heck? You are watching and listening to Dan Buffa. I've been on the internet 14 years. That's when it all started. I got on, they couldn't kick me out. Did some radio, wrote for a bunch of websites. The biggest one probably still KSTK. Now I just write for Substack because I can do what I want. Like sit in your truck on a Monday night and record a podcast just because you can. Wouldn't have to run this up the flagpole of wherever I was writing about, and then they would just go, what does he want? What does he want to post this for? What value does this give? Just not really anything except to take your mind off maybe the more important shit. Is to hear me ramble. I'm dealing with important shit. Number 5, let's just go Buffa's Buffet style. That's a last minute decision. I do want to discuss the new Jack Ryan movie because I only did it in like a little bit of a paragraph on the last written one, and that wasn't enough. So I won't talk about that. Maybe the Cardinals who lost today, but also how, if I can listen to the team on the radio or not, or does it make me want to turn on even bad music? We'll get into that. Did some Uber this weekend. I like it, I hate it. It's the same relationship I have with this truck, which is just likes to have things flashing and then you turn out and it's nothing, which having it be nothing with this thing is great. It's a beast and it handles the St. Louis roads better than cars I've driven on Uber before. I have popped a tire during Uber in a Hyundai Elantra. It kind of sucked. It was raining, it was cold, and then I watched a zombie show while I waited for State Farm to send somebody to, I guess, help me with the tire. But now I drive this big beast, and everything's more expensive. Oil changes, maintenance. Today my dad and I have put in some air filters. We put the air filter in, we topped off the coolant. We have the cabin filter when I do the oil change, and that the oil change alone will push around $100. It does synthetic, which means you can kind of wait a little bit longer. You don't have, we're not living in the days of 3,000 to 5,000 miles. You do synthetic, you can go 5 to 7 easy, especially in a truck. But still, it just adds up. It comes around fast, especially if I do Uber in this truck, which is unconventional. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Like, you can do it. People get in my truck and they go, this is really nice. And other passengers are just like, man, I've never seen, that's the line the most since I started again in November, is I've never seen an Uber truck before. And I was like, it's not ideal, but, when in Rome. Now, it's very important to point out that I am not drinking and driving. I am drinking and sitting. I am having a beer in my parking lot, looking at the reserved parking spot that sometimes gets honored and sometimes doesn't. We're living in the city. People don't care. People don't care anywhere. But number 5 would definitely be the truck and how it's going in for an oil change. Every time it's like you going in for a doctor's appointment, you don't know what could be wrong with your truck. It drives regular. When the check engine light comes on for a few days and goes off, I don't think much of it. You do a lot of Uber driving, that means you do a lot of gas pumping, so you're going to be messing with that little gas cap, and it could just be a shitty gas cap. Lady in the auto body shop said this week it's like a little grain of sand off on the cap could just make that oxygen sensor go off. So, yeah, just truck owner. It always looks good. The grass is always greener from the other side because that's the other side. The money you'll be paying to have that truck on the other side will be green and it'll be coming out of your account. But there are some virtues to having a truck. Bad weather doesn't really scare anymore. Never did in the first place, but I got some backup. Handles the STL roads. These St. Louis streets Not in the county as much. It does get better in the county. The city is scorched earth. And I'm talking about Maplewood, downtown by the Arch, downtown by the Dome. I mean, south, north, city, they're just bad. You know, it's like Bill the Butcher and the boys, scorched earth. I just hear him in my ear every time I go down to do pickups or deliveries down by Page, east of Keeneland. Keeneland/Skinker. It's like, it's gonna get bad. So yeah, truck driving seems fun, seems cool. It's nice you can just throw crap in the back of the cab, but it's not an ideal Uber vehicle, and if you're trying to keep your costs down, it's not an ideal vehicle at all. So there's my vehicular tip of the day. Number 4, the Cardinals lost today. They're not scoring as many runs in May as they did in April, and it's kind of costing them some wins. Their pitching is kind of rebounding. Watch some games, read up a lot in the team. So again, take all this with a grain of salt. I get to watch 5 days a week about 20-ish, 25 minutes of Bernie Miklasz, who really leans into his baseball work whenever the team is playing. Like, there's not really a lot of mention of the soccer team or anything, and it's fine. The talk of the moment is baseball. I mean, since he watches every game, let him focus on that. But that's kind of where I get a lot of my stuff from, and then I formulate the opinion. But the opinion right now is that the Cardinals are just, win or lose, a very fun team to watch. I mean, even if you just watch the 4-minute highlights on MLB.com on YouTube and just watch the great plays, the home runs, the final pitches, maybe a starter was really good. The Brewers starter, a young man whose name I don't remember, I'm not even going to try to conjure out of thin air. It's got a very Boston-y kind of finish to it. He struck out 12 Cardinals today. Matthew Liberatore for the Cardinals struck out 10, but the Brewers won. And so they get the first game in a 3-game set. Because the Brewers, right now, Cardinals fans, they still hold the keys. They're going to be, as they are now, top of the division. They may lose it for a day or two, a few days, but the Brewers, Milwaukee, are going to be there until the Cardinals can kind of get this little rebuild, keep it going upward. The Cubs, the Reds, the Pirates. Pirates have a lot of good pitching. Not pitching that can't be handled, but all the teams really, I mean, yeah, the Reds and the Pirates may flail, the Cardinals may flail a little bit, but the Brewers are going to be on top of them all because they did what the Cardinals are doing now, just a little bit back. They have a lot of special instructors for their top prospects. They don't spend a ton of money, and they're not afraid to let people go if they do want a ton of money, but they do invest in players like Christian Yelich. So it's kind of a nice little something that they're going to do. But the Cardinals still match up well with them. They just got to steal more games and hit better. So that's my Cardinals report. Number 3. Jack Ryan. Really, I wrote a little bit in the last buffet, the 5 things written version. This is the 5 things spoken. And I will say that everything that I think I wanted out of a Jack Ryan movie, it gives. I didn't finish it. It's an hour and 46 minutes. So it's basically like 2 episodes-ish of content. And again, I think the reason is like Amazon Prime did with the Roadhouse remake, where they went to Doug Liman and they went to Jake Gyllenhaal and they said, here's the deal. We can give you a theatrical release, but it's going to be a smaller budget to make the movie. We're going to have to spend that on marketing and on theatrical distribution. Or we can give you a beefier budget and just release it on streaming. And so, in the end, Lyman and Gyllenhaal chose the streaming, and they later bitched about it because that's what, Hollywood people can do. They make a decision and then they whine about it later. So I think they did the same thing with Jack Ryan. They went to Krasinski and the producers and the showrunners and said, hey, you want to do a movie with a good, nibbling. This is where it gets warmer weather. You start getting nibbled and it's nothing. I'm the guy that, in the actors in the movie have something on their face. I just want to smack the screen like you got a bug on your cheek. But the movie is exactly what you want. Krasinski's great as a reluctant Jack Ryan, who begins the movie, and this is no spoiler. If you watch even a blip of the trailer, he doesn't want any part of it. And of course, Wendell Pierce's superior and the CIA says, hey, you're going to do it. He's needed for a certain mission, and there's a new bad guy in town. And I guess this is the show where the name of the show is Jack Ryan. He's the guy that has to stop it, and it's fun to watch Krasinski and Wendell Pierce and Michael Kelly, the trio in that. And they also get Sienna Miller, who gets to use her native British accent, which is great. Not like she can't give a good performance. Like she gave a good American performance, American accent in an American Sniper with Bradley Cooper. She was good in that. But in like Burnt with Bradley Cooper, the cooking movie, she got to use her accent. She was a little better. And here she's kind of like not the thorn in Ryan and his crew's side, but she wants to be a part of the mission, and she's not afraid to pull her gun on a bloodied Krasinski and say, you know, hey man, I want to be a part of the heroism too. And so the movie moves quick. It's kind of very 1990s-esque. Like if you made a True Lies Jack Ryan-ish movie and released it in 1995, but you swapped out Arnold and put Krasinski in and swapped out all the parts, this would be it. It's just that kind of movie. There's a little bit of humor, not a lot, but they don't really go for that. It's just fun to watch those three together, you know, Krasinski, Pierce, and Kelly, the unlikely trio. And of course there's others involved, and I'm maybe forgetting their names, but everybody who's in this movie, even the suave British dude from The Gentleman, whose name I don't really know, I think it's Liam. He popped up, played a big part in The Gentleman TV show, and he's in the, you know, he's the big bad in this one is simply a guy that, well, he wants to do something a certain way, and the powers that be are like, you can't do it that way. Here's Emily Blunt's husband to stop you, and it's fun to watch him do it. So that's a good one. Number two. Man, what is number two? So this is where, you know, you come out of the round, you have a good idea, and then at two left, you're just like drawing a blank. It's Memorial Day, so I want to say a tip of the cap to all armed forces who gave their life, didn't just give their time. There's a lot of people, thousands, hundreds of thousands around the world that are giving their time, valuable time from family, valuable time on Memorial Day just to be out near a barbecue pit with a beer in your hand, and they're overseas, serving or waiting to serve or in a preparation to serve. But it's the people today that you remember, the people that lost. And, you know, the film critic in me, it can never not forget Lone Survivor, where Operation Red Hawk, Marcus Luttrell, made into a good movie that only the lone survivor of that incident allowed. 4 Navy SEALs against a lot of Afghani warriors, and it's a movie where, you know at the onset that people aren't going to make it, and what you see is a lot of what actually happened. And that's just one of the many stories, a lot of which didn't make it to movies or TV shows, they just happened. So a big tip of the cap to them. And that leads into number one, have some fun. As I have trying to navigate whatever I'm doing at the moment, I gotta stop myself, make sure I don't work all the time, worry all the time. You know, when you're single, everything else, it's like you're being blitzed. You know, if anybody has been married and been divorced and you're in that game, it's like, you know, when you were married, you had a little bit of a you had an offensive lineman shoving off the guy that's trying to sack you, and you had a little extra time, and so you didn't freak out as much. You still freaked out because that's just part of adulting. But when you're single, you could get blitzed and you don't have a lot of coverage, and so hopefully you can find some time to relax and also enjoy life, because here we are cranking towards the end of May, and in a month we'll be done with half of the year. That's crazy to think that we, you know, pool weather's kind of on certain days if you don't mind cold water, but it's here. It's like circling around like one of those St. Louis storms that we'll probably get this week, because it's been a few days. And in St. Louis Springs, if it's been 48 hours since the rain happened, you better go looking for it in the woods, because it is missing, because it rains all the time. But hey, number one, don't forget to just relax. Maybe I said that before, but I shouldn't have swapped out the Memorial Day thing for one. But when you're doing this off the cuff and you are drinking and sitting in your parking lot where your apartment is right behind my skull, right behind my head. You could probably see my cat going, "What are you doing? Come feed us." It has been a whole 8 minutes since I fed those cats. So yeah, they're okay. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Yes, Tuesday is going to feel like a Monday, but then Friday is going to get here really quickly if you are a Monday through Friday person. If not, this too shall pass. So thanks for watching. Read more, watch more. My words can enthrall you and they can put you to sleep. Watching this face for 3 or 4 more podcasts will induce a CBD supported type coma, but you got to do it to find out. I can't guarantee it. So thanks for stopping in, and I'll talk to you next time.